Hey everybody! Here I am again to help you with your accent. Today we're going to do some sound counting as well as some IPA work. So let's get started. Well, if you remember from my previous videos, when we do sound counting, we focus on the sounds, not the letters. For example, Pat has 3 sounds. P, A, T. So we're not saying P-A-T, we're saying P, A, T, because those are the sounds in that word. So let's get started. Now, first of all, I would like to introduce to you 2 IPA letters. I also used these letters in my first video when I was doing a little bit of sorting. So we're going to do the E sound and the A sound. So this is E and this is A. E, A. They have names. This one is called Epsilon, this one is called Ash. So their names have their sounds in it. E, Epsilon, A, Ash. The other thing that I want to talk about today is the letter C. There is no letter C in IPA in the sound alphabet. That's because letter C doesn't have its own sound. Letter C either sounds like a K, K, or a S, S. For example, in the word city, it sounds like an S, S. And again, we're only interested in the sounds, not the English letters. So, letter C can be a K when it's in words like cat and cap and capture. Or it can be a letter S when it's in words like city or site. Even in the middle of words sometimes, like accept. Accept has this. Okay, so the first word that we're going to IPA and sound count is head. I use my head. Think about how many sounds, not letters. And I also want you to think about whether it has an epsilon or an ash. Head. The answer is it has an epsilon, and it has 3 sounds. E, D. 3 sounds. And the vowel in the middle is an E. E, head. Erase. Sock eraser. I learned that trick from a 1st grade teacher when I used to work in a school. She would put all of her little markers in socks and hand them out to kids. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. Socks work really well as whiteboard erasers. Okay, next word. The next word is fact. Fact. So I want you to think about how many sounds and whether this has an E or an A, an epsilon or an ash. I'm going to write mine. Fact. I also want you to think about the sound of the letter C. If you're playing along and you're doing this in your head or you're doing this on a piece of paper, don't write the letter C because there's no such thing as a C. Okay. A, it was an ash. K, T. So we have an ash because it's fact, not fecht. And we have a letter K here in place of the C because it's the sound of a K. Fact, fact. 4 sounds, in fact, which happens to be as many letters in the English word, but that doesn't matter. Next word. Next word is sat. I expect this one will probably be easy for you. Sat. How many sounds? And does sat have an E epsilon or an A ash? Sat. It has an ash. S-at. 3 sounds. And the middle sound, the A, is this guy right here. Are you getting them? I bet you got that one right. That was an easy one, right? Okay, next is pack. Pack. P. You got it? You ready? I'll give you a hint. There are not 4 sounds in it, even though there are 4 letters. You good? Pack. 3 sounds. P, a, k. And the middle sound, a, was an ash, not an epsilon. If it had been an epsilon, it would have sounded like peck, which it was not. It's pack. All right. Next word is met. I believe this is another easy one. Met. So think about how many sounds, and does it have an e epsilon or an a ash? The answers are 3 sounds, m, e, t, and it has an e epsilon, met. If it had an ash, it would sound like mat, but it was met. Mat is a word, but it's not the word I gave you. Ready for the next one? Next one is fed. Fed. You ready? How many sounds? And does it have an e epsilon or an a ash? Fed has f, e, d. Fed, and it has an e epsilon. Fed. Next word. The next word is wrap. Wrap as in I'm wrapping a present. Although it could be wrap as in I'm doing a rap song. I'm listening to a rap song, because they sound exactly the same. So again, the spelling doesn't matter, just the sounds matter. Wrap. How many sounds in wrap, and does it have an epsilon or an ash? Wrap. 3 sounds, no matter how you spelled it. Even wrap a present, starting with a W. There's no W sound in the word. There's an a, p. So the reduced sound of R is an a, p. And again, I mentioned it last time, but keep in mind that we never say pa, because that's a P and a U, pa. No, we say p, because that's the sound of a letter P. And we had an ash in the word wrap. Next word is let. How many sounds, and does it have an e epsilon or an a ash? You ready? I'm ready. Let has l, e, t. 3 sounds, and it has an e epsilon. Okay. Next word is a longer one. It is the word happen. Happen. I want you to think about how many sounds, and does it have e epsilon or a ash or both? That's a hint. Or both. Okay. Happen. A, p, e, n. 5 sounds. Even though it has 6 letters when we spell it and write it in English, it has 5 sounds. And it has both an a ash and an e epsilon. A, happen. 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 Now, if you pronounce this word happen, that's fine. It just wouldn't have an epsilon. It would instead, I'll show you what it would instead have if you pronounced it happen, which is an okay way to pronounce it in English. Then it would be happen. It would have an I. There's another way to say it, which has one of the most beautiful IPA letters, I think. I think it's fun. If you say happen, which is kind of weird, but some people say it that way, happen, it would have this letter, which we'll go over another day. But it had 5 sounds, and it had both an ash and an epsilon. You ready for the next one? Wet. Wet as in today it's raining in Maryland. And the ground is wet. Wet. How many sounds does it have an epsilon or an ash? What? T. Wet. And it has an epsilon. An epsilon. Wet. Next word is act. Act. As in, why does my child act like this? Act. So there are three things for you to think about here. How many sounds? Does it have an ash or an epsilon? And that C. How are we going to represent that C in act? Because again, there's no C. There's no such thing as a C. There's no such thing as a C sound. A C borrows from a K or a S. So we're either going to write a K or an S. Now you probably have the answer right, because that's kind of easy now. Act. It has an ash. It has a K, a K, and then a T. Act. Act. All right, last one. I picked a sort of challenge for the last one. It's not super hard, but sort of a challenge. The word is facet, as in the facets of a diamond. Those are the sides of a diamond or a gem, the facets. Shiny facets. How many sounds does it have? Ash or epsilon? And how are we going to represent the letter C that's in the middle? If you know how to spell this word, it's F-A-C-E-T. But obviously we won't write it that way because there's no such thing as a C in the phonics writing, in the IPA. T. 5 sounds. We have an ash, fa. We have a S. Letter C can be an S. Et. Facet. Facet. Again, if you pronounce this word facet instead of facet, that's okay. You would write it this way. Facet. There you go. So, what did you think? Was today good? Hard? Easy? Too easy? Just right? Are we the 3 little bears with Goldilocks in our house? I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you think and what you want and what you need. So please give me feedback. Thanks. Bye.